Trail of Tears. I did a video on this before, and I talked about how you got women and they'll be in a relationship and then they'll jump to another relationship. And that new guy they're with always is super oblivious to how she treated the guy that came before him, right? He's thinking, "Oh man, I'm the one who's going to be good. I'm the one who's going to be amazing, right? I'm going to be the guy she loves. I'm going to be the guy that takes her out to the movies, takes her out to get the breakfast, and we're going to chat, we're going to have fun, we're going to, have Netflix binges and stuff." Um, so I'm going to let you in on a secret, and this isn't really a secret. I've heard several content creators talk about this. I'll give credit to um, 33 Secrets. He talks about this. His channel is pretty dope. It's not bad. I use some of this stuff. He talks about how almost every chick that's gotten out of a relationship and she's starting a new relationship, that guy she left, she screwed him over emotionally, or screwed him over financially, or spiritually, or just a combination of the three, right? Like that guy is like in shambles. He's destroyed. He doesn't know what happened. A lot of times they don't get closure. They don't get any like rest. They're like they don't even know why the relationship is ending. Like, because a lot of times the women will know months in advance they'll start emotionally separating from the guy before they even break up with the guy, and they'll just kind of be in the relationship and they'll check out halfway through the relationship, and then they'll break up with you. And for a lot of guys it messes them up because they don't know that. um, Now if you got a little experience, like me in my first relationship, that happened to me, and she kind of checked out towards the end and I didn't even realize it. um, yeah, I mean that happens. But these guys kind of messes them up. Some of the guys, they don't really bounce back. They'll they'll suck start. They'll suck start a portable hole puncher, and they're gone right off of that. Now, personally, I wouldn't want to leave the world just because of some chick, just because of um, some little. I don't know if I can say that on YouTube. Um, yeah, but yeah, some guys choose to leave the world because of the pain. They can't deal with it. Honestly, I understand. I understand the pain behind it, but I think it's a waste because now when I think about it, like, okay, if you got a lot of chicks and they kind of operate in the same way, then there's what 3 point however many billion chicks there are in the world. I think it's a waste, but I understand they had this fantasy of how the world actually is, but then it's not. It's not actually how the world is. It's just the religion that was sold to them, the religion of love. But then you get this whole red pill thing, and then you get the rage of the red pill, and then you start to understand the Trail of Tears. The Trail of Tears is that new woman you see in front of you, and you see she's really pretty and she looks nice and she's treating you well because she thinks you're above her, right? She doesn't think you're beneath her yet, but you trust, you wait. Eventually, probably more often than not, especially if the guy is inexperienced and he doesn't know how to, he's gonna do something stupid. He's gonna over time. He's gonna start to slowly become weaker and weaker and weaker, and then she's going to put him in the same situation. Might cheat on him. Might slowly just detach from him emotionally, and then he'll be a part of that trail of tears. Right? It'll be a trail of 6, 10, 30, 40 guys who are like strung out, don't know how to deal with stuff. They're emotionally like dead inside, stuff like that. Um, that's just my opinion. Probably almost every chick you run into who is fresh out of a relationship and maybe you get with her, there's a guy suffering behind that chick, right? There's a guy who can't sleep at night. There's a guy who is lonely now as a result of that chick. Now, sometimes you do have chicks where it was a genuine reason. Maybe the guy was like physically abusive, maybe I don't know. There are some instances where maybe the guy cheated and she just decided to leave. Right? All right, cool. But like, trust me, a lot of times, the guy was just normal. He was just treating her decent, and he tried to work things through. But some guys don't know how to create drama. They don't really know how to create artificial issues in a relationship. But then the woman, they don't like boredom. They don't like normal good relationships. A lot of them, so they'll just blow it up. That's what happened to me. I'm just being honest. They'll blow it up, and then they'll blame the guy. Maybe the guy will do something crazy or he'll do something stupid. Um, some guys will threaten themselves to the girl, or they'll threaten the girl, and they'll kind of take that nuclear option. I don't advocate for that. I advocate for literally just leaving the situation. Just leave the situation. Try to find someone who's better for you. But before you do that, write um, write a list of stuff that you'll tolerate and a list of stuff you won't tolerate, and commit to that. Write journals about your feelings and how you're feeling through stuff, and just process this stuff. In my opinion, you shouldn't don't talk to women about your problems and stuff like that, especially when you break up with chicks and stuff like that, or if they break up with you. Don't talk to, in my opinion, don't talk about women about it. Don't talk to them. Talk to people who are a little more secure, not people who have like issues with thinking they're better than people and they have to like be better than people. Um, because you end up emasculating yourself if you talk to someone who really in the back of their head is just like, would you just, suck it up and deal with it? You're going to be able to feel that and it's going to mess you up. You're not going to be able to deal with that all that well. That's what happened to me. After my bad relationships, I talked to people about it, but then it ended up being that I wish I never would have talked about it because it made it worse. Yeah, you think it'll make you feel better to talk about stuff, but then it doesn't. For us guys, most of the time, it just feels better to do something about it or to actually defend ourselves, right? We want to have boundaries. So we don't want to be as lenient and as nice before because we don't want to get taken advantage of. So then we have to learn to actually have boundaries, and we have to learn to actually walk away from something, even if it means being lonely, even if it means you won't have a chick for another 2 3 years, another couple of months. That was my thing. That's the problem with a lot of guys. We'll tolerate a lot of terrible stuff just because we don't want to go without for a long amount of time, right? But then that's where it's our fault. We decide to do that. So then that's on us. So then don't do that. Don't do that anymore. But yeah, Trail of Tears is a woman, and then she has a lot of guys before. Now, all you see is a pretty woman, right? You think, oh wow, she's nice and kind, would never do anything wrong. You got guys behind her, just a trail of men. Some of those men, by the way, self-deleted. Some of them couldn't take the pain, and they didn't have maybe they didn't have a social structure, or just emotionally immature, or some of them just maybe she did them so bad, so dirty, and you wouldn't even believe it looking at her, right? Some women do stuff dirty, and you wouldn't even know. And the guy just couldn't take it, and snapped, and he was gone. And his family's shambles, and everyone thinks she's amazing, right? They think she's the nice person, and he was just the nutcase. It's not always like that. Sometimes she's actually the nutcase. Sometimes they're both nutcases, but then everyone perceives the chick as being a nice person. A lot of times, the darkest stuff, you don't learn about the people who are the darkest ones, right? They get away with that stuff a lot of times. It's just how it works. But you got a trail of men behind this one chick, and the guy who's currently with her thinks she's an angel, but he's none the wiser. He doesn't know that she's actually nuts. Um, she'll turn on you at the drop of a hat. She has no loyalty, and she's a thought, or a thought in training. Oh man, you want to get to the point where you can laugh at stuff. You don't want to stay in anger and frustration and stuff. You want to get to the point where you can laugh It's like if you could like make a comedy act for this stuff and the dynamics between men and women, and like guys, well, you got to treat them mean to keep them keen. It's like, hey, Stacy, you're pretty ugly. It's like, thank you. Like, oh man. In my opinion, when you get to a point where you can laugh, then that's when it starts to get. That's when you start to understand. But yeah, the Trail of Tears.